Tonight on News 5 Live, an urgent mediation between rival groups in Lake Independence. Leadership Intervention Unit meets with PIV and Bakalan gangs in the wake of Darian Banks' murder. Delroy Kelvin is expelled from the UDP, and Pharmacy Express responds to concern that it may not be able to service a $7 million SSB loan. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
When it comes to cleaning and hygiene, Karcher makes a difference. Available at Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings. Your Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV The Remix Season 4.
KTV.
Come on out and win fabulous prizes and the chance to compete in our halftime challenge. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive at $3 for children and $5 for adults. Mask will be required. Or you can watch it live on Channel 5 or streaming on Facebook. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 4. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
In 2012, Belize established a national sustainable energy strategy, which includes the improvement of energy efficiency and conservation in Belize, among other objectives. With responsibility for energy, the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance is supporting the Belize Bureau of Standards to implement the CARICOM Energy Efficiency Labeling Scheme as a measure to provide consumers with pertinent information, ensure environmental quality, and address climate change. At the outset, importers and suppliers can register their approved energy-efficient appliances specific to refrigerators, air conditioners, CFL, and LED light bulbs with a BBS for label consignments. The energy labels will serve as a tool for consumers to access information of the appliance's energy performance and cost savings potential, thus helping consumers to make informed energy-efficient choices that will save on energy and therefore money.
Mom, why did you buy that fridge?
We bought this refrigerator because it is energy efficient, which means it uses less electricity and saves us money.
And what are you gonna do with that extra money?
I don't know, maybe we can get you something nicer for your birthday.
Yay!
And that is how the very hungry caterpillar got his energy-efficient home.
For more information, please contact Belize Bureau of Standards via hotline telephone number 0800-283-5587. Email us at bbs@btl.net or visit our website at www.bbs.gov.bz. This message is brought to you by the Belize Bureau of Standards, supported by the Belize Energy Unit and funded by the European Union.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, July 26th. I am Sabrina Daly. There have been 3 shooting incidents in the Lake Independence area of Belize City that have left 4 persons injured and 1 dead since Sunday night. Darian Banks, a former PIV gang boss, was shot and killed on Monday while walking on Ebony Street. It is believed that his murder is connected to a flare-up between 2 rival gangs in the area, BLC and PIV. Darian Banks has an extensive rap sheet from charges related to murder, attempted murder, ammunition, unlicensed firearm, and assault. He has made headlines on countless occasions in connection with these charges. News 5's Paul Lopez visited Banks' residence in Belize City earlier today in the wake of his murder. Here is that report.
Police officers were on high alert in Lake Independence this morning following 2 separate shooting incidents in the area on Tuesday evening that left 1 man dead. The murder victim, identified as Darian Banks Sr., is said to have been a former leader of the PIV gang. At the time of his demise, Banks was battling with mental illness.
There has been a lot of action here, you know, we could say like the streets has been really hot, but not hot with gang members or anything like that, but hot with like the police moving around. I know the police are doing their job, but then at the same time, he helped a lot of kids in the community. So a lot of people are hurt and a little sensitive right now, but the police are not really up for hear that. They're like, Koya! And then like, if the guys, they don't want to comply, then...
This morning, police detained one of Darian Banks' nephews on Mahogany Street near his home, under the suspicion that he was carrying an illegal weapon. After 10 minutes in police custody at the Mahogany Street police substation, that individual was released. The young man's mother, Indira Banks, spoke with us off camera.
I suggest that they pick up the wrong crew around here. And they don't know who, but that man up the top, no, they sleep. I would want to tell the killer, come out and show their face to the good Lord up there. And I don't want to point no finger at my sister. I want the best to my brother. I want the killer come out and show her his face or her face.
According to police, Banks was walking on Ebony Street around 4 p.m. when he was approached by a male person who fired several shots at him, causing his fatal injuries. Banks took his final breath while bleeding out inside a nearby drain. And while police investigate, Banks' sister believes that a woman who has allegedly been sending death threats to Darian Banks is connected to his murder.
And the woman who's texting him, I want to know who is the woman with the 2 babies. I don't know who is the woman.
Tell us a bit more about that. What's happening there?
I do not know. First time I hear about it, come brother mentioned it to me already. But I do not know who is the woman. So I have to get down deep into it.
And you feel she's connected somehow?
Yes. Some woman lead her to death, but I do not know the woman.
Indira Banks was on the scene of her brother's murder only moments after he was gunned down. She and other family members remained at a distance for almost an hour while officers processed the scene. Moments before the lifeless body of Darian Banks was taken away, Indira Banks was called over by police officers to identify the body. Some people are of the opinion that his murder was
gang related.
Was expected. Is the family of that view that
no?
What we expect this to come sometime?
No.
Is that because he had seemingly changed his life from the role he once held?
Yes. A lot of people hate him because he changed his life. And he's a mental patient. The last time I see him, and yesterday afternoon, when they drink the Johnny Bad, that they kind of Salvation Army, some canned beers. So I said, birds, what's up? Now, what kind of strange thing this? I said, you know, they can't come eat the fried chicken while I make for you? He said, yes, sis, but I want to save it for later.
And the Lake Independence resident we spoke with off camera says he's not of the belief that the guys in his neighborhood have any intentions to seek revenge for Banks' murder. He wants police officers to go easier on the guys in the area.
This morning, I see like a cool little guy. He doesn't give any trouble, and the police are like, "Koya!" And then he's like, well, I don't want to go there, a little bit reluctant to go back because, hey, like, the police, you know, we can't really trust, you know, especially with this type of lifestyle that, you know, so he didn't want to turn back, and then, like, you know, he made up his mind and he turned back. When he turned back, the police just walk up to him and slap him and hit him. And I was watching that as a bystander, like, no, that's not fair, you know, the guy came back. No, if, let's go say, you would have chased him down and then catch him, then okay, I see you could hit him, you know, but emotions get involved. But you can't really, I mean, just a little bit more control, at least in the public, you know. I don't believe, like, these guys, or a lot of these guys are out here giving trouble, like to say they want to pick up a gun and going back, go shoot.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Amid the violent flare-up between rival groups in Lake Independence over the past 48 hours, the Leadership Intervention Unit, led by William Dawson, Dr. Richard Rosado, and Giovanni Brackett, convened a meeting this afternoon here in Belize City. The purpose of the gathering was to quell the rising tension between the PIV and Bacalan's gangs. Since Sunday night, 3 persons have been shot in that area, including Darian Banks Sr., who was mortally wounded when he was attacked on Ebony Street on Monday evening. Various individuals involved in the ongoing conflict were called in this afternoon to trash out their difference. Absent from the meeting was Brandon Battery Smith, a prominent figure within the neighborhood. News 5 spoke with Dawson at the conclusion of today's mediation.
It's public knowledge that there has been a recent flare-up between both groups. But the bigger picture to all of this is that we have been hosting mediations, as you know, for the past 8 months between the groups, and there has been quite a relative calm between the two groups until an incident happened. And this is the nature of these type of young men in that type of setting. And so what we did was try to bring them together again so that we can find out what the issues are and how we move forward.
What was the tone? I gather that this is at the height of tensions between these two groups. What was the temperature in that meeting today?
Well, you know, we didn't really sense that level of tenseness. I think most of the parties were reasonable. Like I said, we've been doing sit down with these guys. And so, as usual, there was a expression between the groups that the flare-up really didn't make sense and that they wanted to get to the bottom of it. I think a couple of the individuals even alluded to the fact that the flare-up was unnecessary because one group really did not know who actually did the first strike. And so it was an open, fair conversation. And while people may think that it's unnecessary or we're hosting these multiple mediations and sit down with these guys, it's really necessary because they are allowed that space to flesh out their differences and to come to a point where we look at mitigating further retaliatory shootings from this process, and it's just very necessary in my book.
According to Dawson, while some participants were guarded in what they shared during the meeting, others were expressive of their frustration with the recent spate of shootings. When asked about Brandon Smith's absence, the director of the Leadership Intervention Unit told News 5 that Smith wasn't feeling well while in police custody overnight. Smith, who is known primarily by his alias Battery, was detained as part of an immediate sweep by the police department in an attempt to prevent reprisals in the wake of Darian Banks' murder.
In these meetings, you'll never get people to really express their true emotions, but we didn't really sense that urgency or that tension, like I said, where we're worried at that point there will be major retaliation. I think both groups, I can say, have been willing to open up themselves to dialogue, and that is what we want. We know that where there's life loss or there's injury, there's hurt, and so we're looking at this from a psychiatric perspective and a psychosocial perspective, where we have to afford the individuals who are suffering from either the grief or the loss or the pain to be able to access the care and forum to vent their frustration, because most of the times these guys operate on each other's emotions, and so when we get the groups together to get them to open up, a lot of the actual tension subsides. That is not saying that we can guarantee that there won't be other shootings. I mean, we've been talking about this for months, and the reality is that what we're doing is trying to stem the violent retaliatory shootings as much as we can, and that is the objective.
I understand that missing from that meeting was Brandon Smith. Can you share with us what may have happened that resulted in his absence?
Well, I don't have much details like yourself, but I heard that he's not feeling well while he was in detention. Of course, you know, when these flare-ups happen, there is mandatory preventative detention of some of the group members, and Brandon was in one of those groups. And from what I understand, he wasn't feeling well and had to be ferried to the hospital to receive treatment. I am not sure what extent what is his situation right now. We'll have to wait to get some more reports on him later on.
1 hour after Darian Banks was gunned down, there was a second shooting incident only a block away from the murder scene. According to police, 43-year-old Kenrick Walton was socializing with two male persons in a yard on Vernon Street when a gunman approached him and fired shots in his direction. Walton was rushed to the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital with a gunshot injury to the head. One relative we spoke with off camera told us that Walton's shooter was drinking and talking with the group prior to the incident. The relative contended that while Walton is from the area, he has no gang affiliations.
The man tell me the ballet gone in the yard, he know the ballet, and he never expect nothing, you see, because the ballet just walk outside and they talk with him. All of a sudden he just hear one bang, and then when he hear the bang, he go up in his head and he feel blood the pour, and then when he conscious, he go unconscious, like he go in like he faint or something like that, right? But then he say, you know, remember what happened, tell him reach in the hospital and start fix up on. But the man alright, the man not dead. Like I tell you, the man say grades on. You check, but I want deep grades. You know, penetrate in his skull.
He feel like the ballet connected to the shooting what happened in Banks, same ballet?
Well, I don't know kind of I did I seen that, right? But everybody speculate that because they done shot Banks and come right there and shot him. Check him and cool innocent guy. He like drink, that's the problem right there. He love to drink. Like I tell you, when I shot him, he drink.
Coming up, no bail for Julian Henry. Charged for manslaughter by negligence. We hear from attorney Dickie Bradley.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, I have seen something else under the sun. The race is not to the swift or the battle to the strong, nor does food come to the wise or wealth to the brilliant or favor to the learned, but time and chance happens to them all. Here it appears that victory is determined by chance, by accident, or by good luck. But that's not what the case is. What it does suggest is that our victories in life are not necessarily dependent upon our human abilities and strength, but the sovereign providential acts of Almighty God, whereby He provides us with opportunities that seem to come at the right time and the right place. It simply becomes our responsibility to seize those moments and opportunities. This is why the Bible says, "So be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise." Make the most of every opportunity. In these evil days, we are constantly reminded that our times are in God's hands, that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delighteth in His way. That to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. God wants you to know that He has a plan and a purpose for your life. You are to pursue it and plan for it, but know that ultimate victory and success is not dependent upon your efforts, but by recognizing God's divine will for your life and walking in it. Then you will often find yourself at the right place and at the right time. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Belmopan resident Julian Henry is spending his first night at the Belize Central Prison after he was arraigned earlier today in connection with a shooting in Las Flores last Friday. He was in custody in Belmopan since then, and he has now been transferred to a jail cell in Hattieville. The allegation is that the shooting was accidental, so Henry was charged with manslaughter by negligence, but bail was not granted. Attorney Dickie Bradley spoke about what transpired today and shares some details on the incident. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Today, 26-year-old Julian Henry appeared in the Belmopan Magistrates Court to answer to a charge of manslaughter by negligence in the shooting death of his friend, 21-year-old Daniel Oriano. The incident occurred on Friday night in the Las Flores community when a shotgun licensed to Henry allegedly discharged and caught Oriano in the neck and face, and he died on the spot. Attorney Dickie Bradley says it was clearly an accident.
It is one of those shocking things, but accidents do happen. This is clearly an accident. This is an accident for which there were witnesses. That it's a fact that Julian Henry has a licensed shotgun. It's not a pistol, it's not a 9mm, this is a shotgun. He was having problems with the shotgun. Minutes before he and his friends were to take off on Friday evening to go hunting many miles into the bush, there was somebody that came to the side of the house. He could not see who it was because the aluminum windows were closed, and where Julian was standing, he turned around and there is an elevation and a drop the way the floor is built. In fact, he turned around when the person had shouted and that his other friend was heading to the door when the elevation caused him to stumble and the jotted shotgun gone off. And instead of the one sole slug going up in the air, it hit the person in the back of the head from a side angle. There are witnesses and they gave their statements to the police, so the police does know that that basically is what happened. Even up to when they arrived, Julian was like out of his mind that something like that could have happened. They testified to that in the summary of the police facts, that he was hysterical, the shotgun was right there. The charge bears out the fact that the police are satisfied, and they consulted with the learned director of public prosecution, who from the little information available was also satisfied, and she directed that the charge should be manslaughter by negligence.
The charge is a bailable offense and not an offense under the Firearms Act, but the magistrate nevertheless did not grant bail and remanded Henry to prison. Attorney Dickie Bradley says, similarly to the manslaughter by negligence case involving Jasmine Hartin, who is out on bail, Henry should have been afforded the same, but instead his client is being punished for an accident.
Curiously enough, Julian was detained in police custody from Friday evening, which would mean that he had to sleep in less than satisfactory conditions Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. The Constitution says that you must bring somebody to court no later than 48 hours. So he was brought today, and he will be sleeping in another unpleasant and unsatisfactory situation until he makes an application to the Supreme Court to uphold his right to bail and to his freedom.
3, 2, 1. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
It's the kind of crime you cringe at. A child being sexually molested. Police have reported that a little girl was raped twice on the same day by an elderly man. The incident happened last Thursday while the child, aged 7, was attending a function at the home of the accused. On Saturday, in the company of an aunt, the child told police that the 68-year-old man had sexual intercourse with her twice against her will. Police have since arrested and charged the man with 2 counts of rape of a child. There was a murder in Dangriga town on Monday night. 43-year-old Adolfo Nunez was at his Rare Pine Street residence with a family member when they heard someone calling for Nunez at his front gate. Shots were heard when Nunez went outside to make checks. The family member inquired and found Nunez on the ground with multiple gunshot injuries to his body. Nunez died while receiving treatment at the Southern Regional Hospital. We will have more details on this incident in tomorrow's newscast. Pharmacy Express Limited, PEL, has broken its silence on the proposed $7 million loan from the Social Security Board. As we reported on Monday, the Social Security Board is proposing a $7 million loan to Pharmacy Express Limited, which will be used for refinancing and inventory purposes. A release from the company notes that it has been in operation within the tourism village since 2001 and was incorporated in December of 2003. The release goes on to say that the business caters strictly to cruise ship passengers. As for its financial standing, PEL says audited records reveal that it has successfully operated for the past 21 years. And as such, will be able to meet its financial obligations to the Social Security Board. In its release, the company notes that at no time did it seek any government or political influence for the loan to be approved. After the break, Pastor Louis Wade responds to Unibam's criticism of his seat on the People's Constitutional Commission.
The BEL 24/7 app has a new look with tons of great features. You have the power at your fingertips to do much more with this powerful app. By using the recently added assistant feature, you can now request for new service. When an unplanned power outage is affecting your area, easily report it using the app, and our team will address promptly. Contacting us is easy. With just one click, you can instantly open a WhatsApp chat for your area and communicate with a customer service rep, or call us directly. The BEL 24/7 app has even more new features just for you. Check for the upgrade or download today.
Yo, this is Super G the General, and I want to invite you all to the
Belize International Music and Food Festival.
That will be held for 2 nights, July 30th
and the 31st at Sakachispas Field.
This party insane. As you left my yard, tell me why you come back.
You know, it's yours truly, King Room Official.
It's your boy Stick the Artist.
My name is Clayton Williams.
It's your boy Dando.
Hi, my name is Deja. TLC, baby.
Blessings, everybody. This is Original Coffee inviting you out to the Belize International Music and Food Festival in San Pedro. There will be me, many other artists. There will be enough music, enough food. So come out, enjoy yourself.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Welcome to RF&G Insurance's educational series. Our aim is for you to understand insurance and how it works. Today, we will be discussing the average clause. The average clause is another complicated insurance term. So let's throw back to 2005 to hear Mr. Tucker expertly explain how the average clause works on an insurance policy.
If a hurricane comes, guess who can make sure we pay 100% of your claim? You can. Let's say your house is worth $100,000, but you decide to insure only half its value, $50,000, then bam! Hurricane comes. The house is heavily damaged. Repairs will cost around $50,000. Not to worry, you say. I'm insured for that amount, so that's what I'll get back from my insurance. Not so. As any insurance company will tell you, you only insured your house for half its value, so you'll receive only half the cost of repairs.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to join us for our next installment, where we will be discussing coverage on public and private roads.
Your Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV The Remix Season 4. KTV! Come on out and win fabulous prizes and the chance to compete in our halftime challenge. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive at $3 for children and $5 for adults. Mask will be required. Or you can watch it live on Channel 5 or streaming on Facebook. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 4. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
Social Security Board has been in our newscast for various reasons since last week, primarily as it relates to loans that the institution plans to make available to the Development Finance Corporation and Pharmacy Express Limited. But tonight, we're highlighting the plight of an individual whose lower right leg was amputated in May due to diabetes-related complications. He is protesting against SSB for what he believes is unfair treatment regarding a request for his benefits. Tonight, we look at both sides of that coin. News 5's Yusani Cayetano reports.
When John Brackett lost a lower limb to type 2 diabetes a few months ago, he did not foresee that collecting his invalidity benefits from the Social Security Board would be an issue. In fact, the cab driver, who is now limited to a pair of crutches, was confident that having exceeded the required 500 contributions, accessing government assistance was the next step in adjusting to his new reality.
And I have submitted my application with what have been asked for. It was accepted for about half an hour, and they have asked me to go and get a medical report from Carl Hushner Hospital, which I did from the doctor which does the operation on my feet.
On June 16th, Dr. Jose Moguel, the general surgeon who carried out the removal below Brackett's right knee, wrote on his behalf to confirm that the 53-year-old has indeed been diagnosed with diabetes mellitus. The letter came after Brackett's application was rejected by SSB.
I went and I get the letter. This is the letter, and it stated that I am diagnosed with diabetes and that my foot have been amputated, and I am taking medication for it, and I am doing follow-up with the doctor. When I presented this this letter from the hospital, I was turned down. They gave the lady took my application, took it to the back in another office, and then she came back out and she said, well, you cannot get any claim because you cannot get any benefit because of the time that you were not working. So that was from 2019 up to this month.
Deborah Ruiz, Chief Executive Officer of the Social Security Board, told News 5 that the existing requirements specify that beneficiaries must be employed up to 3 months of the time that they take sick.
We cover in the short term for sickness benefit and invalidity benefit, right? Now, sickness he would not qualify for again because you said he hasn't worked since 2019. And based on the current rules, you have to be in insurable employment in the 13 weeks prior to when you fall ill. The same is the situation with invalidity. If you have not been working in the last 5 years prior to when you fell sick, then you may fall short.
Brackett maintains, however, that he is more than qualified to receive his benefits based on the number of contributions he amassed while he was employed. A document from the SSB calculates his contributions at 654. Those payments go all the way back to 1988 when he was employed at the Belize Bank. Brackett's most recent contributions were 13 payments that were made by Aqua de Caribe Luxury in 2019.
What I am relying on is that I have 654 contributions with the Social Security Board, and I believe that I should be compensated, and that's the reason why I'm here. Now, they have asked me to do certain things which I don't see it necessary. Like, for instance, they want to know why I am not working, why I'm not employed from that time. That is my personal business. The fact is that you ask for contribution to be made to Social Security Board from my pay since I was employed.
According to CEO Ruiz, the number of contributions made on Brackett's behalf is sufficient for him to collect retirement pension. On the other hand, the amputee is 7 years away from becoming pensionable.
We have different benefits under the long term. 654 contributions is enough to qualify you for a retirement pension. Unfortunately, retirement pension is not payable until age 60.
For the past 2 days, Brackett, who some would remember from his days of activism, has been staging another one-man protest in front of SSB's office here in Belize City.
What do you expect to get out of it? Do you expect that at the end of all of this that SSB will follow suit and properly compensate you on a monthly basis as other pensioners?
Well, I am expecting that. I'm expecting anything though, because if I have to raise the level of demonstration, I might even die and don't get anything. But what will happen is that they will deal with other citizens on a more professional basis.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Following the election of Plus TV's Pastor Louis Wade as the media's representative on the People's Constitutional Commission on Friday, the LGBT community has come out strongly against his appointment. On Monday, Caleb Orozco, who also sits on the newly formed task force, spoke out against Wade and the fact that he has taken staunch anti-rights positions on a number of issues, including Section 53, marijuana legalization, and women's sexual reproductive rights. Well, earlier today, Wade fired back at the executive director of the United Belize Advocacy Movement, UNIBAM, and reaffirmed his commitment that the media will be represented justly at all meetings of the People's Constitutional Commission.
I believe that if the LGBTQ community had elected me as their representative to represent them on the Constitutional Committee, then I believe that Caleb Orozco would be right in line to make his comments known and to scold or speak harshly to his colleagues that they selected the wrong person to represent them. However, this is the media of which I have been a member of for more than 25 years, have worked in the media, and at the time of my election, I was out of the country representing the media because I sit on the Broadcasting Authority of Belize as the representative for independent media in Belize. And so I do not think that Caleb Orozco or the LGBT community have any business in media or have any interest or shares in any media house. And even if they did, they had an opportunity to cast a vote. So I believe that those in media itself who felt that I could not represent them clearly, they voted too. And there were excellent names along with mine that they could have voted for. We are all conflicted on the commission, and those who will all step to the microphone all wear multiple hats and have their points of view on every issue. I believe that whoever represents the church will be conflicted because it's a small country and they will sit on multiple groups. I believe that with whoever represents the unions will be conflicted. I believe every one of us are conflicted, which is why there is a commission with multiple people from multiple sectors. And as I said, the majority of media houses that voted for me believe that I will be able to represent them, and I have committed to them that I will represent them fairly.
UDP firebrand Delroy Kelvin has been kicked out of his own party following a decision taken by the Ethics and Integrity Committee of the United Democratic Party. Kelvin's expulsion is for the period of 1 year for violating the party constitution with, quote, his sustained public bombardment of attacks on the party. Mr. Kelvin has crossed the line of healthy freedom of expression and descent to becoming an agent of destruction that serves the agenda of the People's United Party, unquote. After a year, an application for reinstatement may be considered by the Ethics and Integrity Committee if it is satisfied that Mr. Kelvin has issued a public apology and pledges to abide by the conditions of the membership of the party. Today, the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital announced that its cardiac program is now reopened for persons with heart conditions who need medical attention. Over the last decade, through this specialty, hundreds of Belizeans have benefited from this cardiovascular service, but it was put on hold over the last 2 years. With an upgrade in equipment and training by international partners underway, the cardiac catheterization laboratory is now open and Belizeans will no longer need to travel abroad for this service. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
It's a very exciting time for the staff over at the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital because the tertiary care medical institution has upgraded and now reopened its cardiac catheterization laboratory. The cardiac program was dormant for several reasons, including the COVID-19 pandemic. The rebirth of the program is due to the Acting Director of Medical Services, Dr. Adrian Koi, who is a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Excitingly, we have a very upgraded cardiac catheterization lab, but with many other features to do vascular work. We can do pacemakers. We will be able to do a whole wide range of other types of interventions, even for pediatrics. So this actually is a very exciting time for the hospital. Over the last 2 days, we have done 9 cases already for diagnostic and 1 intervention.
The program started almost 10 years ago in partnership with the Heinemann Robisek Foundation, where over 300 cardiac catheterizations, 46 open heart surgeries, and many other procedures have been performed. The newly upgraded laboratory provides the ability to advance cardiac care, which is desperately needed in the country.
The #1 killer in the world is cardiovascular disease, and Belize is no different. And that's something that somehow we get lost in the plot for all the news of the day and other health issues. Obviously, we can't ignore the pandemic, etc. But nevertheless, this still has not changed. And therefore, having access to the technology and the skill sets that we are developing locally will create, again, the opportunity for patients to be treated here in Belize rather than having to go abroad and of course, incur huge expenses.
What people might not do is relate heart disease to diabetes, to hypertension, and those are very, very prevalent in Belize at this time. And so we want people to know that if you are having or you have a non-communicable disease such as those, you are at risk for heart disease. And so that increases the number of patients that we would see in Belize. And now indeed they don't have to travel anywhere else. We have a very, very good team here. And thank you so much to the foundation for providing the necessary support and the necessary training that the staff will need, and so that you can be comfortable that you can get diagnosed for heart disease here and be treated.
The collaboration helps in building the capacity of in-house medical personnel.
I've been coming here 8 or 9 years. Initially, we had the lab outside. Fortunately, we now have this new, more modern lab. Really nice equipment. It's really exciting to bring this type of technology to the people of Belize.
It's quite a lot of pressure. But yeah, I guess I'm just here at the right place at the right time to learn from the best. What I learned is treating patients, doing echocardiograms. This is a totally different things. It's more interventional, more different type of imaging. But it's a little bit hard to adapt, but can get used to it.
We have a ways to go. We plan to come down here once a month, which I think is still inadequate. The hope is that we're going to train Dr. Lin to be able to do these procedures, and he's coming along very quickly, more quickly than I thought he would. And we're hoping that within the next year or two that he's going to be flying solo and be able to do this on an as-needed basis.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
As the country continues its battle with the COVID-19 pandemic and is in the process of recovery, News 5 asked KHMH CEO Chandra Cancino about that process for the National Referral Hospital. She says that while as an institution, it has been able to resume some of its specialty services, there are challenges with collection, even though they are not turning away anyone who needs medical attention.
We are still in the recovery process from COVID, and so that is taking us a little bit of time. So every day we inch closer to recovering from, the financial implications, as well as the staff being worn out. So we're trying to address those little by little. We have now resumed these services, and we look forward to. Well, we are just about fully open about now in regards to specialist services and specialist care. Finance continues to be our number one challenge. We continue to improve our billing services so that people are getting their bills, but the collection is still very, very much a challenge. We are about to embark on a incentive program for persons who owe the hospital. So we're going to let you all know about that going forward, to offer some incentives for those persons to come in and pay their bills. And so we try every day. We know the challenges people face. We turn back no one. But we're very, very challenged where the finances are concerned, because we need the money to turn over to provide the services that the public needs.
When we return, Dylan Vernon publishes a book on political clientelism and democracy in Belize.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Go back to school and beyond when you upgrade your smartphone or tablet to a Samsung. The affordable line of high-tech devices are the perfect back-to-school tool that you can fit in the palm of your hands. Whether you're shopping for a starter phone or a high-end device, the Galaxy A series has an option to fit your needs. The awesome lineup includes the A03, A12, A13, A22, A23, A33, and Tab A7 LTE and A7 Lite. So unlock these offers and get your 1-year warranty only when you shop at authorized Samsung resellers countrywide, including Seven World, Digi, Divari, Odette's Home Center, and Westtrack from July 4th to July 31st.
Compostable plastics. To understand what a compostable plastic is, we need to know that composting is a natural way to recycle decomposed organic material like oranges or banana peels. So, a compostable plastic is similar to the banana peel in the sense that it also undergoes biological decomposition in a compost site and doesn't leave any toxic residue. In fact, it breaks down into carbon dioxide, water, inorganic compounds, and biomass at a similar rate of compostable materials. This is great because once properly disposed of, compostable plastic food packaging would be broken down in a manner much kinder to the environment compared to plastics. The recycled materials would return to Earth quickly and safely as soil when disposed of in the right environmental conditions and temperatures. It's important to note that for decomposition to occur, all compostable products must reach a sanitary landfill, where there is proper management of the waste through disposal and treatment. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
It's a tradition that has been around for generations, and one that the two-party system has perpetuated. In his book, Political Clientelism and Democracy in Belize, From My Hand to Yours, author Dr. Dylan Vernon exposes the problem that is political clientelism and the dangers that it poses to our democracy. The book informs that at least 25% of the electorate engages in the habit, yet it is something that hardly anyone openly talks about. News 5's Marian Ali was present for the discussion among intellects at the UWI Open Campus and found the following report.
It's a daily phenomenon. All Belizeans have some first, second-hand, third-hand knowledge of it. And as we sit in this room right now today, it could be also happening tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. Thousands of Belizeans will be lining up at political clinics, and they will be there for something they want or something they need.
Political clientelism is defined by the author as, quote, an informal and dynamic political exchange between individual or collective clients who provide or promise political support, and patrons who provide or promise a variety of targeted and divisible resources and favors, unquote. Vernon's close friends, Dr. Harold Young and former Senator Osmani Salas, gave reviews on the book.
I had to explain to myself in Creole. So I hope you'll indulge and revel with me as I say it in Creole. My explanation in Creole. I want power, so I'll give you something to make you vote for me. Or you give me some money, and I will do something for you later. Many politicians use public and private resources to meet some need of enough voters that they will vote for them and put them in power, put the party in power. The political game is that if you can do this with just enough voters to win power, that's all that matters.
Politicians have effectively become patrons, and more citizens and voters have become clients of the politicians. So from the position of the patron, the political party, the political candidate, it is possible to regard political clientelism as just another way of spending resources in order to gain votes. You must say it in a Creole, which might just as well have been invested in vote buying. So political competition more than doing away with clientelism, has democratized it. Practicing political clientelism is open to any political party, not only the one in control of public spending.
But benefits politics or political handouts, which prevails particularly during election time, is illegal, as the author explained.
Articles 32 to 47 of the Representation of the People's Act make vote buying, vote selling, and vote influencing illegal. And there are punishments of up to 500 in fines and up to 1 year imprisonment, and also disqualification from running or voting in elections.
Vernon pointed out that no one has ever been successfully prosecuted in Belize for political handouts. But the launching of the book at this time might be the perfect timing for people to start debating the topic when the People's Constitutional Commission is about to be introduced. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Dr. Vernon's book lays blame at the feet of politicians for perpetuating the bad habit of political handouts. But one political leader who was present at today's launch of the book, Political Clientelism and Democracy in Belize, From My Hand to Yours, told News 5 that she endorses the book. Leader of the Belize People's Front, Nancy Marin, says she also does not support the concept of political handouts.
It is an important book because I have felt very alone. When we started this struggle, this was a struggle. The struggle is not for power, the struggle is to break political clientelism. And so this is the biggest hurdle that we have, and it is a disease, and Dr. Vernon has indeed unmasked that disease that plagues our society. We have to form and strengthen the social nets that we have, the safety social nets. But I believe that it comes in a timely time in our history of our country, because we are now embarking in this constitutional reform. And happily, I will be sitting there and I will have a hand in it. For the first time in the history of Belize, third parties have been given a seat. And I think this should be the Bible for all of the people sitting there.
The launch of Dr. Vernon's book brought up other factors, such as genuine social problems that force voters to seek political assistance. Kathy Esquivel, who was in attendance and who has in the past served in several key capacities, has pointed out that the matter is gender-based because women, mostly single mothers, are in need of assistance because of their household dynamics. But it does not necessarily mean that politicians who help are rogue.
Women essentially are usually responsible for day-to-day survival. They need to find how to find somewhere to live, how to put food on the table, how to keep the kids in school. And so they are the ones that are asking for these small favors. But as Dr. Vernon said, men tend to be asking for big favors. And politicians a lot of them don't like to do it. And they want to do good things, but you can't do good things if you don't win elections. And to win elections, there are certain constraints. So I like the idea of trying to find structural changes. Like, it's not because of individual bad actors, although there are some of those too. But it's a structural problem, and I'm sure Dr. Vernon has higher-powered opinions on that.
Young Leaders Alliance of Belize, YLAB, is requesting a seat on the People's Constitution Commission. 2 representatives from the youth organization were present at the National Assembly yesterday for the Foreign Affairs Committee meeting on the People's Constitution Commission Bill 2022. A release from YLAB says the representatives were there to present the organization's request for YLAB to be appointed as youth representative on the People's Constitutional Commission. We heard from those 2 YLAB members following the meeting.
So this was a sitting of the People's Commission Constitution Bill 2022. And we were here on behalf of the Young Leaders Alliance of Belize to make our recommendations to the bill, which, whether by intention or unconscientiously, excluded young people from having a seat at the commission. And so we are here to express our recommendations and vouch for our place around the discussion table and the decision-making table. I think it's important that young people become more engaged in national development processes such as these, simply because we account for 70% of our nation's population. And to have been excluded from this particular process just is a blatant disregard for the impact that decisions will have coming out from this particular constitutional reformation, primarily towards young people.
People are really the majority of the country, first of all, and so young people cannot be divorced from political and social processes, and what we at YLAB have named as a generational task of constitutional reform. And so that is why we must be here. Our sheer numbers and our contributions that we have made and will continue to make as Belize forges herself forward.
Just ahead, the Ministry of Blue Economy and PACT sign partnership agreement for Belize's Marine Reserve Network.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Ma, you really can't get a mannequin for this, ma? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marion Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
signing ceremony took place on Monday between the Ministry of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation and the Protected Areas Conservation Trust, PACT, for the last phase of a program within Belize's Marine Reserve Network. PACT's targeted investment program, titled Improving the Management of the Marine Reserve Network, will be carried out by the Fisheries Department. PACT's Conservation Investment Strategy 2018 to 2021 in the network includes Key Cocker, Bacalar Chico, the Sapadilla Keys, Glover's Reef, and South Water Key marine reserves. It is valued at a total of $1.15 million.
These 5 areas are extremely important because more and more we are seeing the increase of the tourism that is coming, especially from Burgess Key. And to give you the facts is that 85% of people that come, the tourists that come at the PGA, come to Burgess Key. So these areas are directly affected. So it means that we have to put more resources so that to better manage our zones that are available for tourists. And in particular here, Bacalar Chico. It is well kept, it is well maintained for all to see, and that we want to make it a good that is for everyone to use.
There are several challenges, from human resources to the financial aspect, which is what the Protected Areas Conservation Trust is assisting us with. In the field, we have problems with infrastructure. We have major infrastructure needs that we need to replace, staff quarters, for example. We have needs for repairs of vessels, maintenance of vessels, maintenance of engines. We're in the process of doing management plans, which are done every 5 years. And these are constant needs and challenges, of course, because we don't have the personnel nor the finances to do it.
Beginning today at the Biltmore Plaza in Belize City, technical sports experts from across the Central American region, except for Panama, converge for the first of its kind Physical Education Congress. Coricader is the sports arm of SICA, the Central American Integration System, and the objective of the conference is to identify and share a structured curriculum for physical education at the primary, secondary, and tertiary level across the region. News 5 spoke today with Deputy Director of the National Sports Council, Marvin Otley.
Belize had the presidency for Coricader for 2 years, but it was those 2 years in COVID. And what was instructed is that the technical people for Coricader decide on a work plan for a physical education congress. The main objective is so that Central American countries could share one document, so to speak, on what is physical education within the region. That is the main objective. The other objective is for us that there should be some change in the curriculum that will help to improve what we do with physical education at the primary, high school, and tertiary level. For today and tomorrow is presentation from all the countries. And then what they do, they take all those presentations and work to see how they could create a document or a paper, yes, that will basically get presented to the ministers in Central America, and then that will become a document, so to speak, that we will work with.
At the end of the 4-day technical meeting, a PE manual will be developed and will be incorporated in the curriculum. National Sports Council Deputy Director Marvin Otley explains the benefits of having a regionally structured program like this.
When we look at some of the leading countries, especially when we look at Cuba and Mexico and these countries around us, is that somewhat the lifespan of their citizens are mostly extended because of the physical activity that was implanted in them from a younger age. We have to seek ways how we could redirect ourselves to help to improve the lifestyle of all Belizeans in regards to physical activity. Remember, Coricader is the sporting arm for SICA, and so this will certainly help to improve our athletes across the region, but more so for us. I must say this is a lot of good information for Belize. Next year, the intermediate competition will come on stream first. There will be no Coricader competition until 2024. So we have put in place some intermediate, and Belize will host basketball and table tennis next year. And then we go to all other Central American countries for the different events. So certainly this is a start for what Kodikada will mean for Belize going forward.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.